Well, gang, Christmas is getting closer, and today I started going around and saying hi to my students in person, those people who couldn't come out to see me. I went to see them and it was really good. And they gave me snippings from their garden. My garden is already a sort of down memory lane kind of garden, but it's even more so now. So I have beautiful geraniums and all kinds of things. I want to show you something I'm doing. I'll get close up so you can see it. Remember that I'm doing miniatures. Well, I'm doing miniatures, and I'm putting them onto pendants. That's just an ordinary size pendant that's it's difficult to see, but it's got glass in the front. So it's my miniature painting, made miniature, and then glass, and it's in a nice little box. There we are. That's how big it is. There's my hand. There's my pointy finger. There's my thumb. There's my thumb. That's how big it is. So yeah, I'm having fun doing that. So whilst the rest of you watch television, I make pendants for the exhibition that's happening in February called Love and Desire. I started out with my thoughts on the Kama Sutra. Okay, with regards to hypermobility, I'm going to say this for the 1000th time, and I hope that you write it in big letters on your notepads, which I hope you have with you. Hypermobility is not just about being flexible. Hello? I'll say it again. Hypermobility is not just about being flexible. The flexible part is just a sign that hypermobility is present and a collagen mutation has occurred hereditarily. I don't know whether that's a word, genetically. And so when you are writing modules to me, don't expect me to be impressed when you express hypermobility as flexibility, because that's not what I am particularly interested in. Yes, we deal with that by stabilizing and strengthening the muscles and the joints. But please keep in mind that someone who is hypermobile has a collagen mutation throughout the whole of their body. Not just in the joints, but everywhere. In their gut, in their heart, in their lungs, in their head, in their liver, in their kidney. May I go on? In the skin. They're going to have troubles to a greater or less extent, depending on the mutation, actually knowing what is actually going on in class. So when you say move to the right, they're going to have to think about that. What is that? Step to the narrow end of your mat. Aha, what is that? Turn to the right. Don't know. Step backwards. Step backwards, turn around and stretch your leg out. Well, forget about that. Someone said to me the other day, and it's quite right, that the hypermobile amongst us get shot. And while it seems a bit extreme, what happens is this, that somebody who is hypermobile and has had a learning disability and maybe just a little bit of Asperger's or is on the spectrum in some case, they're standing watching the police or watching something, and they look quite normal, but things aren't happening like they happen for you and I. And the policeman notices this person watching and says, "Stop, turn around, put your hands on the car." Guess what the hypermobile person does? He runs because he's confused. You've given him 3 directions at once. He's still back there at stop, but he can't do anything about the stop because it's a turn around and put your hands on the car thing. So he runs. Guess who's going to be lasered? He is. So when you are having a class and you are delivering a number of different directions, know that your client is going to take a while to comprehend it all. Plus, by 3/4 of the way through the class, they're longing for the lying down part because they're exhausted. They've been concentrating 3 times harder than anyone else in the room, and they're exhausted. They get tired quickly. They get tired quickly anyway, but when they're trying to comply, they get even more tired. So please keep in mind that hypermobility, put this in large letters on your notepad right now. Hypermobility is not just about flexibility. That's just a sign. That's just something that says, aha, now we know what we're looking at. But hypermobility and flexibility may not go together. Flexibility might be so minor as to not be noticeable to you first off, but then you will notice a preponderance of other things. And although I've said it many times that someone who is pregnant and hypermobile has got such a problem usually with their pelvic girdle that they may be in great pain and need a pelvic belt to hold the baby there. They might have a cervix that's not terribly compliant. There's all kinds of problems that they might be having. So you have to look at how you're teaching differently. And you might be hypermobile when I'm saying this to you. You might be not understanding. Luckily, you can play this over and over again. If you don't understand it, play it again. If you still don't understand it, email me. Okay? Now I made a couple of notes because people have been saying things about yoga, which I'm sure they say it to you too. Reasons they don't do yoga. How many of them are there? Lots. But I just made a small list. If I come to yoga, it will change me. Isn't that why you come to yoga? They want to do yoga and they want me to be changed, maybe. Or they want to do yoga and nothing happens. I was coming out of the Salvation Army store last year or the year before, and I had a meeting with a lady. I bumped into a lady and I said, oh, that's a lovely blouse. She said, well, I won't be buying it. And I said, why? And she said, because it shows my bingo flaps, these triceps under here. And I said, oh, really? So what are you doing about that? And she said, I go to yoga. Oh, I said, oh, well, eventually it will fix. What does it feel like at yoga? And she said, I go to yoga. Is it supposed to feel like something? Well, yes. Why do you go to yoga if you don't want to feel something? They want you to feel something. They don't want to feel anything. They don't want to be changed. Thank you very much. I'm happy like I am. I'm coming to yoga because my doctor says I should, and my husband thinks it's a good idea, and my son says, oh, it's just down the road. I've got some beautiful students, and 99% of them are there because they want to be changed. What are your students wanting? The next one is, if I come, it will cost me money. Yes? And everything we do costs money. Give to God what is God and give to Caesar what is Caesar's. And, we really have to understand that yoga teachers, like every other teacher, need to eat and pay the rent and live. We need money. Even when you're in love with someone, you buy them a ring. It costs money. You might have to save for some time to buy them a ring, but you don't worry because you're in love with them. You know that when you put that ring on their finger, when you are married, the possibility is they will have all of your money, but you don't care because you're in love. Well, fall in love with yoga. We won't take all your money. We will take a weekly fee. We will take class pass money. We will do that because yoga teachers need to eat. I don't come to yoga because Jane might sell me something. Well, I'll try to. I'll try to interest you in buying a piece of art, or I'll try to interest you in making a donation, or I'll try to interest you in doing something, or volunteering, or taking a food hamper, or working on a Tuesday. I will try my hardest. So yes, that is totally correct. If you're worried about me coming up to you and saying, are you doing anything on Wednesday? I'm going to do it. Sorry about that. This is not an apology. The next thing is, if I come, I'll have to do something. Oh, yes. That's what you got to do. You got to do something. You got to change. I don't have the time. Well, if you don't want to come to yoga, you haven't got time for it. And if you're not in love with yoga, you won't find time for it. I try and always get people to do the 3-minute meditation. I think you've got 24 hours in a day. Can you do 3 minutes meditation? Mostly they say yes. And I say, okay. And then how long is it going to take you to do the 5 Tibetans? About 12 minutes max. So there we are. 12 minutes plus 5 minutes equals 17 minutes. Let's say 15 minutes. So have you got 15 minutes in a day as an insurance policy? It takes you longer than that to fill out a form. So yes, really make that 15 minutes part of your day, because it's going to make a big difference. Somebody wrote to me today and said, I'm so pleased I started the 5 Tibetans. My skin is looking fantastic. I feel better. My joints are smoother. And on and on and on they went. Just out of 7 minutes a day. Come on, get the plan. And then the last one is, how can I know it will help? Well, if you've made up your mind that it can't help, then you're right. If you've made up your mind that it can help, you are also right. I've told you about the guy who came to me. He had bone cancer. He's supposed to come on a Wednesday, but he was having some kind of an isotope put into his bones. Why he would do that, I just don't know. On the Wednesday, so in spite of the fact it was my holiday on Thursday and I really break it, I thought, well, if he's coming on Thursday and he's in pain and all that, I will be here on Thursday. So I made the change and I was here on Thursday and he came. And his diet and his exercise plan, I've seen 5-year-olds with better diets and certainly 5-year-olds with better exercise plans. And I said to him, you know, what do you expect me to do? You're going to have to do meditation. You're going to have to tidy up this food plan. I want to see some green things here, not just Hungry Jacks and KFC and the occasional pizza. I want some spinach and broccoli and peas and beans and things like that on here. Parsley, for instance. And with regard to exercise, I want you to take at least 15 minutes in the morning and 15 minutes at night doing meditation and exercise. Keeping in mind this guy's dying quicker than you and me, he said to me, you don't understand. I've got a social life. And I said to him what I say to you. It's hard to have a social life and be dead at the same time. So please, we're all pedaling towards death. Nobody gets off this planet alive. Really, really, really. Nobody does. We are all walking towards death. And how you walk is of great importance. If you, like that guy, are just blindly stuffing your face with chocolates and doing whatever on the way to the Great Reaper, then you're going to have the death that he had, which is tied up to a lot of machines and not conscious at all. Do you want that? I don't think I do. I want to know what I'm doing. I want to know when I swap over. I think it's going to be a great adventure, and I want to be there. It's taken me however many years to get there. I want to actually be there during the process, not wake up on the other side. No. I don't want to do that at all. I want to have that lovely experience. Did I tell you about my late husband? He was a doll. He was beautiful. He was 33 years older than me, so we knew he was going to die. Well, he had a fairly good chance of dying first. Anyway, towards the end of his life, he got quite sick. I think he'd had enough, really. Probably had enough of me, but he got quite sick. And he went to hospital and lapsed into senility. And for the last, say, 3 months of his life, he was nursed on a bed on the floor because he kept on climbing out and trying to get home. And so they put him on the floor so that if he climbed out of bed, he didn't hurt himself. And in the last day of his life, towards the evening, the nurse rang me and she said, I know that you've been in today, but can you come in now? It was about 1 or something in the morning, and I said, yes. She said, I don't think he's going to live the night. So anyway, I went in, and I'm sitting beside the bed, chatting away to him, and he was just out to it. And then suddenly his eyes opened, and he looked at me, sat up, and he said, have you been there long? And I said, oh, well, yes, sort of. And I said to him, where have you been? Oh, he said, I've been to where all the good fairies go, he said. And I said, oh, well, that's beautiful. And he said, bye, honey. And he went like this. And he lay down and he died. And he went, I'm sure, to where all the good fairies go. He looked like that's where he was going. He was peaceful, he was calm, he was not medicated. And I felt his body lift. And, well, his spirit lift, sorry. And that is how I want to go. Like that, so that I can say goodbye to somebody or anybody or nobody who's standing around the bed. And I can say, okay, I'm ready now to go where all the good fairies go. And say goodbye to this world like this. And just lay down and die. I think that's a beautiful way to go. It certainly made sense of our marriage, and it told me what death at those last minutes can be. They don't have to be fraught. You don't have to be lying there thinking, my goodness, I just wish I had more money in the bank, or I wish I'd have got some more stocks and shares. No, his way was the best way. Bye, honey. It was beautiful. So that's what we're working towards in yoga. We're working towards a conscious end and the best beginning for the next that we can do. And, you know, I know that the Dalai Lama says he's not going to reincarnate again, and I guess he's in charge of that, so we can know it's right. However, I do think that when baby Jesus occurred, it was not his first journey here either. You know, he was always with us. In Genesis it said, in the beginning was the Word, and the Word was God, and the Word was of God. And, you know, that Word, Jesus was the Word. I know we've gone away from hypermobility, but it's all linked. We're all paddling towards the same end. I want to be here until I'm 103. I want to worry you until I'm 103. I want to be the person who says, have you done your homework, until I'm 103. If I'm meant to be here till I'm 203, that'll be all right, as long as my mind is still on the plate. Whatever works out, I'm happy for that. So we've covered a lot of ground today. I hope that you go back over the hypermobility, because I don't think that you've understood it thus far, and catch up and write things down, because that's really important. And get ready for Christmas. It's going to be a wonderful Christmas, I think. I'm looking forward to it. And Christmas is not my favourite time of the year. I usually dash off to India. Namaste. Have a wonderful however many hours till the next video. Bye.